What's good, everybody? It's your brother Mad Black, the most dangerous and most toxic black man on the internet, and I'm black up in your face again with some more pro black commentary. So, I was reading in the news that one of the demons that murdered Ahmaud Arbery for no reason whatsoever, just cold blooded murder, Greg McManus, I'm sorry, Greg McMichael, he's been moved from the main prison to a medical prison, and I guess he's going to serve out the rest of his sentence there, if he, depending on how long he lives, because this is the older gentleman that was involved in that terrible murder of this black man. And when I saw the story, and all it did was make me think that if Greg McManus and his son and their buddy uh, Billy Bryan, had just stayed their asses at home and not tried to pretend to be Charles Bronson or basically act like a lynch mob from the Reconstruction era, they would not have these problems now. Okay? All they had to do was mind their business. And if they thought that a crime had been committed, all they had to do was call the police. Now, I know for a fact that they didn't think a crime had been committed because by that time, Ahmaud Arbery was already walking down the street. So they probably didn't even see when he was at that construction site. Okay, they just saw a black man walking down the street that they probably had probably seen before, but because he's black, they don't remember, and they just decided that they were going to stop him and harass him and kill him. Okay, this is what happens when you have these mayonnaise mutants who think that that it's still slavery time and they have some authority over black bodies. They have the right to question you as to where you're going and what you're doing. And if you don't answer them, they have the right to hunt you down and kill you. So that's what happened in this situation. But now, because, Greg McManus, he was old already when he went to prison. So I don't think they feel that he's going to last too long in a regular confined prison. But, he probably had all types of medical issues to begin with, other than being a white supremacist, right? There's he probably has some actual real diseases going on with his body besides that mental issue of being a white supremacist. And, you know, being in jail is not the best place to be when you have health problems. Okay, they don't really tend to your needs like they should. But, he has to be taken out of that regular prison rotation and put into a more a facility for medical. And I've seen prisons like this. My mother actually worked in a prison like this towards the end of her nursing career, like before she retired. So I've actually been to places like this and seen how they work. And if you want my honest opinion, they're not much better than a real prison. Like, I don't know anything about the prison that he's going to, but I mean, from the one that I saw up north, it wasn't nice at all. Okay, it was not some place that I would want to be. You see what I'm saying? It looked terrible. No matter what kind of medical facility they had there, maybe it was just better equipped to handle people with medical issues, but it didn't seem much better than actual prison, in my opinion. Okay, but um, I mean, for me to I can't feel bad for Mr. McManus or his son or their buddy Brian. Okay, I don't. I don't feel bad for them whatsoever. Whatever happens to them in prison, it's well deserved. Okay, because what they did was horrible, and it didn't have to happen that way. That's the crazy part. There was no reason for them to do that. Okay, hunting somebody down because you thought they were a burglar in your own little twisted mind and stopping them, and then when they try to run away or get away from you because you're just some weird strangers chasing them, you shoot them and kill them. You see what I'm saying? You see how ridiculous that is? Just saying it out loud sounds ridiculous. You're not an authority figure. I know there's probably white people listening to this video. Let me explain this to you. You are not the police just because your skin is white. You have no authority over anybody just walking down the street. How would you like to be harassed by somebody? You don't even like being told to wear your goddamn mask when you go into stores. But yet you think it's okay for you to pull a gun out on somebody and stop them and ask them questions. That piece of trash, George Zimmerman, thought the same thing and wound up killing a teenager for no reason whatsoever. Okay? And I don't believe that whole nonsense about Trayvon beating him up. Even if that were true, Trayvon had the right to beat him up because, once again, you have a strange human being following you in the dark, and their question, Trayvon didn't know that devil. Trayvon didn't know who that person was. And George Zimmerman has no authority. He's not a cop. He's not a security guard. He's not anything. Just some random weirdo following around a child and demanding to know what this child is doing. Okay? That's not how life works. I know you people think you're privileged and you still own everything, but you don't. Okay? Like I said before, white supremacy is a sickness and a mental illness to make you fools think that you are actually supreme. When I say white supremacy, that doesn't mean I think you're supreme. I'm talking about the mentality within your own heads where you think you're supreme and you can just make demands of anybody whenever you feel like it. That's not how it works. Okay? So, for all the black people out there, keep your head on the swivel. It doesn't matter if you live in the South, like this situation here, or if you live up north. Okay, because the same thing has happened to me when I lived in New Jersey. Make sure you're careful out there with these scumbags who think that they can just call the police on you, or they pretend to be the police and act like they can just question you and ask you for your slave papers or whatever. Be careful. And once again, I don't feel bad for Greg McManus while he's in the hospital or the hospital jail. Okay, good for him. You folks let me know how you feel about it in the comments section. Anyway, Mad Black, and I will be back on my foot on these devils' back.